All right, so what is up, guys? We are back with another video. It is a Thursday night. Tomorrow is dunk day, the best day of the freaking week, no doubt. No cap, the best day of the week. So yeah, we, last time on my general day, I just kind of picked a topic. Today, I will be doing a shakeout, which might be a good topic of discussion for you guys who want to know how to basically prep for a dunk session where you want to do well. So we were supposed to dunk with Golden Bear, actually. He is a photographer that does a lot of photos for pro dunkers. So I know he's done them for Kilgannon, Isaiah, a lot of the old school Florida guys, if you guys remember them, like Nico, DillIan, all those guys. Anyways, so we were supposed to do that. We don't know if we're going to be doing that tomorrow or not. I guess we'll just have to play it by ear and see. But until I know, I still want to prep for my session tomorrow. So on the agenda is shakeouts. Shakeouts are something, the first question is, what is a shakeout? A shakeout is basically something that can be done the day before a session that is meant to not loosen up, but it's meant to lubricate the joints. It's meant to get your core temp up, potentiate your nervous system so that you're able to produce more force when you go to actually jump. I'm trying to think of like other big picture stuff. It's essentially a way to guarantee that you sharpen up your performance for your dunk session the following day. Some guys do it the day of, the morning of, some guys do it the day before. I personally like to do it usually the day before. I usually like to do something to get the blood flowing, like to go through some range of motions with my hips and my hamstring and my quad, and kind of the triple extensors or relevant musculature that I'm going to be using in the following day. And you see it a lot, like I said, in track. Guys do this super often. In dunking, no one really did it. I kind of introduced it with Isaiah in 2019 with K54. And it's a good way to prime your system. So, quick anecdote. Every time I've gone to dunk camp, I've done this the day before, and it's pretty much always guaranteed that I go into the session more confident and feeling better, before I actually start dunking. So what I typically like to do, big picture, core temp. I like to get a little hydroplaning. I like to get core temp up. Core temp is basically your internal temperature. It's not necessarily like to touch, but it's also what is your, what's your knee joint feel like? What is your, what are the deep muscles of your hip? What do they feel like? What is your chest, your temperature around your chest, not just at the skin, but how does all that stuff feel? And what it does is getting blood flow to those working muscles. You're basically having those capillaries open up, vasodilate, which means the blood vessel opens up, and you're shoving blood into the area. That is going to essentially get oxygen to the working muscle. You're not damaging any tissue. You're not damaging any muscular tissue that's going to need to repair itself. It might facilitate a little bit of recovery in that tissue potentially. No guarantees that that's what happens, but it might do that. And you get synovial fluid in the joint. So this is probably the most important part, two most important parts: getting synovial fluid into the joint and getting the tendon to be desensitized to some sort of elastic load. And in my experience, I've seen that, I don't know where I'm going. In my experience, I've seen that is worth doing. It kind of just makes you feel more confident going in the next day. As I get older, I think part of the thing that has happened is I have like this like premature arthritis, and doing that general work the day before, or like getting my core temp up and getting my synovial fluid moving in the joint, makes me feel just better coming in the next day. It's not even like aches and pains, but it's just like you feel something there. And when you're jumping your best, it's almost just like you have 100% confidence. You don't feel anything. You're very aggressive. You can attack they take off, and I think that that's the beauty of doing a shakeout. That's why I love doing something the day before and just instead of sitting on your ass and just doing nothing. You know, I talked to Cody Bidlow the other day about this, and he was like, posted on his story, he's like, well, what do you guys think? You know, do you like to do something the day before for aches and pains, or do you do nothing at all? Generally, I think a lot of guys feel better when they do something the day before, whether it's just like a brief warm-up and some dynamic flexibility. Sometimes guys will do like sprints, or they'll do, some guys will actually do stiffness hops. I don't personally like to do that. I think it's like a very aggressive kind of approach. I like to keep it very simple with my general work, you know, and I found that to be really productive. So yeah, that's how, or with my shakeout work, I like to keep it very easy, very general, and just kind of go through the ranges of motion, get some dynamic flexibility, and get some sprint drills in maybe if you've been doing them. You know, one big thing you don't want to do is overload yourself. You know, if you add training stimuli that you haven't been doing the day before, that's going to be really counterproductive, right? Like, if you haven't been sprinting, you probably shouldn't sprint in your shake. You definitely should not sprint in your shakeout. If you haven't been doing stiffness hops, you definitely shouldn't do stiffness hops in your shakeout. Jumping, not a good idea. You know, all those things I would avoid doing the day before. A lot of the time for me, honestly, like if I were to just go shoot around or something like a dunk camp, that tends to be a really, really, really productive shakeout for me. Just get moving a little bit, get on the court, get a ball in my hand. You know, that for me is probably the best thing that I can do. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do that today. So what I will probably do is go to the gym, probably jog on the treadmill or walk on the treadmill for 10 to 15 minutes, do some light dynamic flexibility, get some body weight squats in, maybe dribble around, and that'll be it. That'll be it for the day. And then tomorrow I'll kind of go through a full warm up. I did notice last time that even doing like a micro shakeout the day of, or like an extended warm up, was really productive for me, and not jumping until I was like for sure ready helped a lot. So for me, like honestly, just shooting around for a while Isaiah dunks or Austin dunks can help a lot, and it just lets me get like warm faster, not faster, it lets me get warm at my own pace. Whereas like sometimes those guys walk into a gym and they could just like dunk right away. I can't do that. So even adding to that shakeout point is doing something the day of can be really productive to kind of like warm you up, whether that's foam rolling or, you know, like I said, doing an extended warm up, whatever else. Really long warm up, shooting around for an hour ahead of time. Like that stuff just helps me the older I get. And for me to get to 100%, I'm talking like head at rim, you know, I've said this before, I can't feel anything. I have to be pain-free, 100% confident, joints lubricated, tendons warmed up, muscles warmed up. Otherwise, you know, I get tight, and it's not just stretching. Like stretching isn't gonna do that. I have to be like a coil, like a tightly bound or wound coil, but also something that's like, it's like a spring, like a lubricated spring too. I can't just be that tightly wound coil because, you know, that'll lead to injury. So it's kind of this blend of being warm, but also being like stiff and bouncy and not feeling like jello, I guess for lack of a better word. And, you know, for me, that usually means that I have to do a very, very thorough warm up the day of, do some dynamic flexibility for a while, make sure I address all of the relevant musculature. And then honestly, dude, caffeine is like that's the primer, baby. That's the NOS. You get some caffeine in your system the day before, you're gonna be feeling all right. You're gonna be feeling pretty freaking bouncy. So, you know, I'll definitely make sure that I do that. I would really like to have a good session tomorrow. You know, dare I say the best I've ever had, but I really want to dunk well tomorrow. You know, I feel like getting these consistent, and I'm not saying dunk well tomorrow, like it's more like I want to, how do I say this? I want to jump high and make my dunks and punch my dunks. That's like almost a better way of putting it. So that's the end goal. I think I might even like put headphones in and warm up for a long time. I don't really like dunking with other people because I don't even like the hype of other people, because for me it's like I have to attempt a lot of different stuff to get like my lobs on and get like my approach on. And when I'm with a lot of other better people, they like only get hyped for like themselves or dunks that are better than theirs, and like I'm never gonna be better than a lot of the guys I dunk with. Not that I'm bad, but like those guys are on another freaking level, and they'll still get hyped for me, but it's just like when they're dunking and I'm dunking, it's just like different, you know? So I like to kind of not stay in my lane, but yeah, more or less stay in my lane. There's a reason I dunk with like DillIan and Clint and Andy and these kind of Billy and these older guys at dunk camp. You know, I don't like to, mentally it just puts me in a better frame of mind, you know, where it's like we all know kind of where our levels are and we get really excited for each other when we do well. You know, Clint's like another guy, whereas like the pro guys, they don't really give a shit. Unless I do something I've never done before or get close to doing something I've never done before. Like, you know, it's kind of like whatever. So yeah, that's why I like dunk alone. It's me versus me when I do that. Even when I like dunking with Austin, but even when I dunk with Austin, it's still, not that it's competitive. It's not, I wouldn't say that's what it is, but it's just like, I'm worried about more so like coaching him. You know, I'm worried about coaching him, making sure he stays in a good frame of mind, making sure that he, you know, has fun with it. And I'm less focused on my learning and like less focused on kind of what I need to do. Just the nature of trying to help other people, which is my job. Like, I don't mind doing that. Don't get me wrong. I like that. I just don't like that when I'm trying to dunk. I just want to focus on myself when I'm trying to dunk. There's a difference between like performing and coaching and teaching and all those different things. It's just, each of those has like a kind of like a time and place. And yeah, like when I'm dunking, I just want to dunk. So yeah, that's kind of the mindset behind it. That's how I approach, you know, dunk sessions and the goal tomorrow and all that stuff. Hopefully for you guys that was helpful and productive. I hope you guys start to integrate some shakeouts into your training. I hope you guys start to take caffeine in your training. I hope you guys start to understand some of the mindset that you have to have when you're approaching these sessions. Tomorrow, the big goal is going to be trying the bracing cue again, seeing if that can get me, you know, back in the rhythm of things. The lobs, trying, like I said, lob it, don't throw it. My touch is getting better on that over time, so I think that that's going to iron itself out. Staying healthy is always a goal. Last week, that was a big goal, was just go in a session, feel healthy. This week, honestly, I kind of want to, for lack of a better word, not lack of a better word, but like all gas, no brakes. You know, I really want to fly tomorrow. I want to take off from, I want to do some crazy distance dunks. I definitely want to dunk from the right side because like I was getting better lobs on that side and it was just like better touch on the ball. I want to punch something from that side, you know, like freaking hand braking, whatever, just punch some shit on that side. And then from the other side, that corner, like I said, bracing is going to be a big goal. Maybe I get a throw in, but I just want to like have a confident approach that I can attack tomorrow. You know, like recently it's just been all over the place because of my lobs. And yeah, I hope that I can just kind of figure that out either through trial and error and just doing it, which you guys saw last time. Like sometimes you just have to grind it out. Sometimes you just have to attempt it until you start to figure it out. And that's kind of the way that I approach a lot of my sessions. Like, it's like, okay, you know, this isn't working right now. Let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try this. You know, I'm not as good as those other guys, and I need a lot more speed. That's why I watch DillIan a lot, because DillIan's like I am, and he has the same struggles that I have, but he jumps higher than I do. And he does a lot of cuffs, you know, because he does a lot of cuffs, and that helps a lot. I can't quite take off as fast as he can. I don't jump as high as he can. But DillIan's a good person to watch because we have the same issues. You know, there's not a lot of guys that run as fast as we do as power jumpers that, you know, can have the same mobility issues too that we can relate to. So it's good to have each other to bounce ideas off of. So that's the goal. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. I'm really hyped. And I hope that was productive for you guys. Peace out. See you tomorrow on the CarCast.